Auckland, the city of sails and the fifth venue to host the Volvo Ocean Race fleet. With almost a third of the sailors hailing from New Zealand, the welcome from this sailing mad nation has been spectacular. Auckland is one of the race's shorter stopovers, which has put pressure on the shore teams, who have a matter of days to prepare the boats for the next leg, the longest of the race and potentially the most demanding. Leg 4 was tough for all the boats, but there was significant damage for both Groupama and Telefonica, which needed to be repaired quickly. Ahead lies more than 6,700 miles of some of the most challenging racing the crews have seen. The fleet diving south from Auckland into the Southern Ocean, around Cape Horn into the South Atlantic, then past the Falkland Islands and up to Brazil.
A puncture hole in the hull on the starboard side near the waterline up forward. There's not a lot of damage around that, but it's a clear something's made a hole there, and then it looks like the damage has propagated from there once the water's gone in. Fortunately, we've got a lot of good guys, we've got a lot of materials with us, we are pretty autonomous in what we need to do, so far, you know, we can look after something like this all on our own within the team, and that's the whole object of the exercise, is to bounce back from a setback like this.
The shore teams worked their magic and all 6 boats were back in the water in time for the Auckland In-Port Race.
10 seconds.
Puma Ocean Racing got the perfect start. Their time on distance to the line at the committee boat end nailed.
So it's off the line, it's Puma. Ken Reid has done the business at the windward end.
In the middle of the line, Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing also started well. However, local knowledge soon kicked in as Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand tacked immediately towards the wall, not only providing thousands of spectators with a fantastic view, but also finding the breeze on the city side of the course, as well as significantly less negative current.
Camper, as I see, is getting a lovely lift. That means that they're turning a little left, they're getting a better angle against the wind along that wall.
Groupama and Sanya were quick to follow their move. When Camper tacked back out, they managed to cross in front of Puma, whilst behind them, Groupama and Sanya jostled for position. Mike Sanderson's Chinese team losing out and falling behind the rest of the fleet. Heading up to the first mark, the Kiwi Spanish boat overlaid the buoy. Frank Camus's Groupama sailing team judged it to perfection, allowing them to overtake Puma and make up valuable ground on the leaders.
But it's Groupama who picked the ley line beautifully to the top mark. So Groupama are second at Mark 1.
As the fleet sailed towards the iconic harbour bridge, Camper extended their lead, but the battle behind them was hotting up. Groupama got caught in the light air on the city side, allowing Puma the chance to sneak up on the French team, but Groupama defended well.
You can see Groupama there on the left, so there's a shadowing effect from the sails. I think Groupama are actually giving turbulent wind to that leeward boat.
Under the bridge, the fleet hit markedly lighter air in the shadow of Northcote Point, but Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing's overly aggressive approach into Mark II cost them dearly as they completely lost control of their sail.
They've got spinnaker all over the place. They pushed that bottom mark hard.
Puma and Groupama continued their tussle as the American boat took their turn to sneak past, whilst Abu Dhabi was still trying to restore order down below. Camper's lead was unassailable and Puma managed to hold off Groupama for second. Team Sanya made up valuable ground on both Abu Dhabi and Telefonica, clinching a well-deserved 4th place. Chris Nicholson's team's first in-port race victory was claimed in front of a huge crowd as they took maximum points, but it still wasn't enough to move them up from 3rd position overall. However, Camper is now only 3 points behind Groupama. Team Telefonica remains in pole position. So the short but sweet Auckland stopover drew to a close, and the Volvo Ocean Race fleet departed their temporary home in the Viaduct Basin and headed out into the Waitemata Harbour. Before the hard ocean miles, as always, a short, sharp race around the Cairns before heading for the Hauraki Gulf and the open sea.
We can see Camper reaching round the bow of Telefonica with 32 seconds to go. Camper having to do a big manoeuvre around underneath Telefonica. So the boats are actually starting on port tack. So Telefonica have Camper pretty well tucked away there, and then right at this windward end, Group Armour look in a pretty strong position. Camper then wriggle out to get clear air. So 10 seconds to go. We're into the final wind-up for the start of the leg from Auckland to Brazil. And it's Abu Dhabi who's got a good little bit of speed on, but down to leeward. Camper and Telefonica, plenty of speed at the leeward end. But look at the start at this windward end, Martin, of Sanya. Another good move by Sanderson.
Well, local knowledge probably coming into play a bit there, Mark Cavell. Your take on that start?
Well, that's an absolute slingshot start there from Sanya, coming through by far the fastest boat as she crossed the line. And Telefonica over on that wall is looking really good. And of course, when they tack, they'll be coming out on starboard, which is the right-of-way position, as Camper tack now and clear out the back of Abu Dhabi.
Well, they took a bit of a hit there on Camper, Pete.
Well, Camper were getting squeezed by Telefonica, so Camper have come out a bit early. Telefonica next to peel away. We can see Telefonica now tacking, and it's just a matter of whether Telefonica can have a piece of the boats to windward. Telefonica on starboard, they have the rights. Looks like Mike Sanderson and Sanya are clear ahead, so good start by Sanya. Oh, there's a protest flag. There's a flag there on Sanya. Sorry, on Telefonica. Just asking the question, did Puma tack too close? That's a inshore type manoeuvre. Kenny Reid really looking for the lee bow tack on Telefonica, and that has just pinned Telefonica behind Puma.
But I can report, I've got the binoculars out and I've seen a green flag, so no incident.
There's Kenny Reid, who currently look to be in second position, although they're having some anxious looks down to leeward, and they will be looking down towards Telefonica. And by the look of how the bow's coming down on Puma, that would indicate to me that Telefonica on starboard are in a strong position, forcing Puma to dip. So Puma comes round as the giveaway boat, dipping underneath Telefonica. So Telefonica are moving, well, it was a double dip because Abu Dhabi have come up. So that's actually quite a big dip for Puma. For Camper, they've just stayed on the wind because they were back a little bit more. It'll open up now for Camper to actually sail in clear air, which they've struggled to do from the start.
On board now with Sanya, and you can see that the shuddering of the boat as they ease the mainsail, then ease the Genoa, and then they'll fly that huge downwind A sail, and they will just take off down here with the tide, with the wind. And I mean, what sort of speeds are we talking about here? They're going to be at around the 20-knot mark,
Yeah,
Peter?
20 knots, maybe, and a little bit more. As Sanya around Abu Dhabi, they've had a good upwind. They'll come in from on starboard.
It's going to be close.
Telefonica will need to dip. Telefonica are the boat required to keep clear. So the bow comes down. Ika Martinez brings the boat down, and he'll dip behind Abu Dhabi.
Nice work on Abu Dhabi there to get themselves up the fleet.
But looking at Abu Dhabi, I don't know if they've got their A sail hoisted. I didn't see up on the forestay, I didn't see the second sail hoisted. I'm not sure whether Abu Dhabi are ready for this downwind. Telefonica had their A sail hoisted, and Camper slipped in there just ahead of Puma.
Yeah, no, they're doing a back hoist as the A sail comes out now and starts to fly on Abu Dhabi. So they elected to hoist off the foredeck because the sheet's still not on yet. But we've got Telefonica now set. Camper around the mark, just about to unfurl. There she goes. But we're really with a lovely lead forward. We've got Sanya heading down as Puma comes around the mark. Very, very close on its stern. We've got Group Armour. It looks like Group Armour going for the jibe set.
After arriving in New Zealand following a tough fourth leg, the teams were determined to make the most of the Auckland Stopover. And where better to start than the tallest building in the Southern Hemisphere, the iconic Sky Tower.
Apparently, we're going to walk around a platform, right? And then we're going to jump off the building. Get her done, Paul!
schon was von white on the sleeve.
It looks safe. It looks really safe.
First up was a spot of extreme sightseeing.
So welcome to Skywalk. We're 192 metres above the ground, or 53 stories up. Walk backwards. No.
Perched on a walkway just over a metre wide, the crew members were treated to a spectacular, if slightly nerve-wracking view across the city. After catching their breath, it was time for a quick change and the second adrenaline rush of the day, New Zealand's highest base jump. From 192 metres in the air, jumpers free fall for 11 seconds, travelling at over 85 kilometres an hour.
Excited? Yes.
Up, coming up, man. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very, very funny. One of the best things in my life. CK1, very good.
You ready? Ready to jump? Wicked, coming up, man. Here we go.
The skywalk, it's cool, but the jump was even better. It's good fun. A little adrenaline rush.
2 down, 2 to go.
Go! Yeah, boy!
The first step was the hardest, but not as bad as walking around the skywalk.
Jeffy, what you're going to do, man, hold on to that with your right hand. Come across, grab the side with your left. Go!
Oh!
That was awesome. Very funny. Time to go skydiving. When are we doing that, guys? You coming with us?
Back on the water, the fleet was heading towards another Auckland landmark, the Harbour Bridge.
And we've got a real luffing match, and they're still going, and that's going to push them up to the spectator fleet out on that left-hand side of Devonport. This is going to be really interesting, because Ika's going to be very happy to push him up there until he has to jibe, which he does now.
So all action here on the Waitemata Harbour in Auckland. You can see why it's called the City of Sails, because there's so many boats out there, and Camper being chased into the spectator fleet. And they'll be looking, all the spectator craft, of course, know that they're going to be doing a loop. Oh, right, this is right into the fleet, into the spectators. And
you know what, Martin?
Yep.
If there's anyone listening, and this is the advice, if Camper, a 70-foot open 70, comes charging at you, just stay still. Just stay still. Do not move.
They'll get out of the way.
On board Camper, they go into their jibe, and what are we looking at here as the jibe goes through? So Camper have ended up right on the Devonport or the North Shore side. Sanya around Mark II, they held their lead. Next will be Abu Dhabi, as we can see the Jenica all filled up. Got to get a clean takedown as Ian Walker just gets a little bit high of the mark. So the radius of turn around the mark means that when he exits, he's close to the marker as Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing comes round the Volvo marker, and they're heading now back up the harbour. Oh, look at the battens are a bit inside out there, Martin. That's going to be a little bit untidy on Abu Dhabi. You see, the problem is in the head of the Genoa, there's a batten, and that batten has, or it's like a girder that holds the sail straight. It hasn't turned inside itself, so Abu Dhabi have a problem.
They're wounded.
To get that down, they might have to release the halyard. It would have come about in the jibe. Next in will be Camper, as they furl their sail up with Telefonica. So Camper have actually got round Telefonica on that downwind. So Mark 2, Camper are on the move.
Chris Nicholson sprints across the stern of Camper, grabbing the other wheel, and they're off. He's battled his way back into third spot for the locals.
Oh, Nicholson, you see, couldn't turn the boat round at the mark. He's opened the inside there for Telefonica, so Ika Martinez says thanks very much.
Abu Dhabi jibing.
I'll take that. So bottom mark causing a few issues for the teams. Telefonica around, Telefonica having to go a little bit head to wind. They've got a bit of an issue with their Jenica and their probably their battens. Be good to go back as we look at Puma, see how Abu Dhabi got on. They had issues also at that bottom mark. So Camper on the next leg. Well, this bottom mark, Martin, and again, it's a function that the boats are in offshore mode and they're short-handed. It's hard to do these manoeuvres at the marks.
Very hard indeed.
Still an issue there. Look, there's an issue there for Telefonica. What it'll be, they can't get hold of the false luff of the Jenica. So Ika Martinez takes a luff, and that means that the bowman can get hold of the furled sail and get it down onto the deck.
It looks like they're settling down there now on Telefonica, but that cost them, and we see Camper flying away. Same issue.
Because if the sail gets round on the right-hand side of that forestay, you can't actually retrieve the sail because you drop it on the right-hand side or the leeward side, it'll actually just balloon away from you into the water. So what they're endeavouring to do, and we can see 4 guys up on the foredeck, is get the sail into a position that they can retrieve it.
Well, this is very, very costly in terms of time and distance. And on Groupama, they're battling to get this sail sorted out. And how frustrating for them, and that's all part of the issue of these in-port races. We're always saying this, they're really short-handed.
A2E, that's their A2 downwind sail, but pretty hard to retrieve at that bottom mark.
In New Zealand, you're never more than 40 kilometres away from a body of water. And sailing isn't the only popular water-based pastime, as 3 of our intrepid sailors were about to find out.
Okay guys, we're going out to the East Coast Great Barrier to do some heli fishing. It's about half an hour's flight before we get there. We have a look for some dolphins, whales.
What are we going to catch today, Grant?
Probably snapper, trevally, kingfish.
Head up straight to the helicopter. And I'll sort you out now. I'm looking forward to fishing in New Zealand. Never fished here before, fished most places around the world. The fishing here is meant to be awesome, so really looking forward to hopefully catching something.
Grew up fishing and try and do as much as I can when I'm home or whenever I get the opportunity.
I think it's going to be a big fish compared to what I'm used in France, and very nice view because New Zealand is very, very beautiful.
Okay, because we're in a twin-engine helicopter, we take off backwards. In front of us now, the Wildno in Rangitoto Island is considered to be still alive volcano.
Just landed on a pretty remote spot off the Great Barrier Island. It's pretty amazing scenery. Let's hope the fishing's good. Oh, nice one.
You can see them all up on it.
don't know if it's a red snapper or just snapper, not sure. It's pretty small.
You want to kiss it?
Ah, after I smell it, my mouth smells bad.
Like it. Right now, Charles probably caught another fish, one more fish than me, but he's not got a line in the water right now, so just need a fish now. Got the biggest one, but just need to level up the stakes. Nick's got nothing. I think he's caught a fish, but probably get away.
Gorgeous shot looking out over Devonport towards the container terminal with Camper, Puma and Telefonica thumping up the middle of the Waitemata, Auckland Harbour. See the crowds there still enjoying this sight. It's been a great week here, something like 250,000 people going through the viaduct race village, and we'll be sorry to see the fleet go, because it's been good fun having them in town. Okay, we're with Sanya there. They've tacked out, coming back into the harbour. They've played this race absolutely beautifully. Their crew work has been slick, and they've also just sailed into all the right places.
It must be wonderful for Mike, because Camper, Team New Zealand, has had a lot of local support, being the New Zealand boat. But Sanya, you can't forget, Mike's from this place, and he's got a lot of Kiwi crew on board. So this is going to be very, very nice for them to lead out of their home port.
Dean Barker getting ready to jump off.
Okay, waves goodbye to the boys. Here he goes. Whoa, nice dive. Oh,
could have done with
his hat
straight
survived
legs.
as well.
Martin, one observation here earlier in the race when we were in was fishing Cape Town, and I think even in Sanya. Sanya had a different genoa. They had a genoa that was quite high in the clue, which is the intersection corner where the sail attaches to the deck. But now they've got a sail that's low on the deck, and that will be a new sail that the designers have come up with. So Sanya have developed. I think they're a little bit faster than they were, and they've really capitalised in this one to leave Auckland, and they'll lead the fleet out now, 2 sail reach, up to the East Coast bays to another turning mark.
And then it's all going to be on.
Abu Dhabi still just on the ley line to that top mark, and it's a nice top mark for Abu Dhabi. Coming behind them will be Telefonica. So Abu Dhabi come around the mark, and then they'll ease sheets and head out into the Hauraki Gulf.
Well, what a stopover it's been here in Auckland. It's been everything that they could have asked for, but perhaps it could have just been a little bit longer. The boat's delayed out of China to get down here, and it's been a very busy time. Peter, your feeling about how it's all gone?
Oh, I think the Auckland stopover you've covered a bit short, but in terms of the conditions that they've had have been perfect, and lucky to get the conditions in the inner harbour, and the send-off and the support from all in the harbour has been fantastic. It's getting more wind. The waves are getting up. You can see the guys are starting to get plenty of water over the deck as Groupama comes into Mark 3. She trails that little group a little bit, but I'm sure in the context of what's going to happen in the next 20-odd days, it's going to be a big issue. So the boats are now essentially in the Hauraki Gulf. They're leaving Auckland, and they're in for a torrid next 48 hours, and maybe even more.
So that's all from the City of Sails as the fleet prepares to face the most challenging leg of the race so far. We wish them goodbye and good luck.